Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Um, Today we're going to continue the fourth grade, and this is part of our study for the retreat, and we're exploring the idea of seeking appreciation from others. I'm going to ask somebody to revise what we discussed last week, preferably the dear.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, in the previous meeting, we discussed the fourth grade and in detail this ayah for us God suffices and He is the best disposer of affairs. So, we started off with discussing the fourth grade, and then a question was asked like, what do you do when you want to be appreciated or things like that? So, we started off with what being appreciated means. And when you want to be appreciated, it means that you own that thing. So you start off with wanting to be appreciated for something that is not your own. So there is a sense of ownership in that. So you cannot do that. And then there's a different aspects that were also discussed in the discussion. Like, for example, if you're going to do things for the sake of others, you're constantly intentional. Like, for example, they appreciated me for this thing. Now I have to do it better so that they can appreciate me more. And there were also a couple of different aspects that were also discussed, like how you're going to do things that people are doing so that they will appreciate you. For example, you do a certain thing, like you go study because people are going to appreciate that. So your whole life is going to be governed by the things that people are going to appreciate. So it's not you living that type of kind of life out today. So this was being discussed in the fourth grade, and here, like, this is kind of the introduction that I had. So if someone else wanna take over and tell us more about it.
Do you feel like your questions were answered that you had last time?
Now,
Okay, so what's the question, and then we'll discuss in light of that.
so my question specifically was about the feeling. So all the surrounding things was discussed, like how it affects, but my question specifically was about the feeling of happiness that you get when someone appreciates you. So for example, if you say that it is from the creator, the happiness that you get is like it satisfies your ego. And if you say it is from someone else or something like that, you do not feel happy about it. So it's like, I don't know, it feels like you don't want that person to be happy if you don't want yourself to be appreciated. That's how it comes off to me. Because everything else makes sense, but what about the feeling? Because I want that feeling to be there. I want to feel that feeling.
What feelings?
So when someone appreciates you, there's an instant joy in you. Like, for example, your face lights up, there is an instant smile on your face when someone says anything good about you. But when you would say that it's from the creator, what I feel like, I don't know, it's anything that is good in me, anything that is being appreciated.
Let's say your t-shirt.
Yes.
I tell, and that was your example, no? I cannot tell you that, oh, such a good color, and such a good t-shirt. And you feel good.
But then the answer that I understood would be
Thank you.
from the answer that I got from the discussion was that it is not me whose beauty is being displayed here, but it is the beauty of the creator that is being displayed. This is the understanding that I got from the discussion previously. But when I say that, I feel like I don't feel happy.
You don't feel happy because it's not yours.
Kind of. And like, if I'm feeling happy, like if someone is making me feel like something that feeling uneasy, then should I do it? That is my question.
I'm not.
Maybe it's not.
No, it's fine.
Did you read?
No, thank you for sharing that question. I think, first of all, we should always go off our emotions, experiences, our individual like feelings, like reality that we actually feel. So I would say like the way the author starts, just from what I remember, he said, I had this innate desire for immortality. However, he says like I mean, the reason he even goes into this, like he had some need. He saw that he had some need. He was maybe dying away, or he didn't feel like, I don't remember the specific words, but he had some need and he was in despair. And then he said like, "Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel," he said this kind of came. So I think if someone, like for you or me, if someone comes to me and says, "Oh, you have a nice t-shirt, oh, you're amazing in this, you're amazing in that." And if you have no problem, if you enjoy that, then you don't have a need for something else. You're good. I would say then you don't need this. Like you don't need to go further than that. I think what happens though is I could come to you and here, like you said, he has a need for immortality, right? You have a need. Like when someone comes and says, "Oh, you look amazing," maybe that feels good. Just like maybe eating sugar feels good. And there's like some joy in there at the first eating. But you see that it lies on like some there's not truth under it. Like if you eat too much sugar, there's not really, it becomes unhealthy, it becomes harmful. You don't enjoy it anymore. So I think going back, at least for me, if someone came to me and said, "Oh, you're super smart, you're amazing, you're this and that," I might feel good for a little bit. But then as it progressed, I'd be like, I know myself, I know who I am, I know that I have so many imperfections. You coming and telling me, like if your dad or your mom says, "No, you'll pass that exam, I believe in you, you're amazing." Like if they say this, for me, it's kind of like not too supporting. Like that's not very encouraging for me because I know myself. It's like you just saying, "Oh, I know I will be able to do it by my own power. I know I can do it by my own knowledge." I feel so alone. I feel very isolated. So going back to that, then how do I find comfort? Again, for me, it would be the knowledge is not from me. The knowledge is being given to me, whatever is being given. But however, I'm not the one that has to be the source of that knowledge. So when my parents say, "Oh, you're gonna be amazing on that exam, don't worry," and I'm like, the knowledge is not from me. Like I don't need to be the one to be producing it. I don't need to be the one sustaining it. However, whatever knowledge I am given, however good I do on the exam, then I can be thankful for whatever is given. Then I find like some comfort that I don't need to be the source of it. Yeah, just some brief. And please, like you don't need to accept it or feel like it works for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you have to.
Yeah, so I agree that there's like some need that is unfulfilled there. And I think that
When it is not fulfilled, sorry.
there's a need that's unfulfilled of you needing, like, desiring that appreciation. And so my thought is that
So I'm a slow person too. I have to, ask this question. So you need something and it's not fulfilled, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
What is the need?
The
In this
need-
example,
to be appreciated.
and it is not fulfilled when and how?
So I think the need more than just to being appreciated is helping you fulfill a certain need. And I think that need is this self-reliance, this image that you have constructed of yourself, because somebody is giving you. So when they're giving you this appreciation and you want to credit to yourself, you want to claim that it's something that is in your possession that you sort of shaped with your own hands, and you want to give that credit to yourself. It's as if you're shaping your self-image in your mind of what you are and your value. You're shaping it by your own hand. And in a sense, it feels like you're building this idol of yourself. This idol to be worshipped. And you want this, because it was by your own hand. Fragile this idol is. You know going with the breaking, you have no power in itself. So you rely on other people to tell you that it has power and that there's something there. And then you're trying to keep this illusion of this idol having some sort of value or power in itself. And I think that's when you need this credit is you need to give yourself some sort of confirmation and affirmation that this self-image is still intact, knowing that it can't shatter at any point, and that it's really not like there's nothing there that is of value in itself. But you're attributing it all to this sort of idol that is sort of becoming your focal point of like purpose, and you're beginning in a sense to worship that idol. Because you're seeing value in it, and you're attributing those qualities, that value to that idol, when in reality there's nothing there.
Thank you. I should work.
That's the appearance.
I think, you know, the questions that you shared are very important. And that we should, I guess, try to examine this feeling of joy, you said, right? That we experience. Like, if I do something, you know, let's say I vacuum the house and Abdurrahman notices. And he says, "Oh, I appreciate that." Like, I enjoy that. I enjoy that appreciation. Right. Yeah, take one example.
Are you throwing me under the dirt?
The one yours, yes, she does, but.
Thank you, I'm in deep for now.
No, Jazakallah. I will, okay, anyways, it's an example. And, you know, if I do something and someone appreciates it, I was trying to make it more concrete. Like there is that feeling of, oh, I am glad this person expressed appreciation about me, or something either of myself or something that I did. And I guess I can recognize that, you know, even if it's doing something or inherent quality, or inherent quality, like, you know, a skill or something, like I can recognize that it's given, right? That it's not mine. But I can still enjoy that appreciation. And it seems like, at least, like, since which I understand, you're asking me about, and correct me, like, why is that enjoyment there? Is that maybe the question? And what came to my mind is that I guess this feeling of enjoyment and appreciation is expressed towards me plays a very important and critical role in letting me know that my creator, that like having me ask the question of, do I appreciate my creator when I am given things, when I am the recipient? And I guess, you know, it's like we can't, there's a difficulty in drawing an analogy between like human emotions and you know, the creator, but it can be a means through which I understand that my creator would be pleased with me if I acknowledged and appreciated his constant creation in my life as well. So I guess that plays a critical role in letting us know about that, and letting us, reminding me of my responsibility to appreciate others and to appreciate my creator, who creates sometimes through others, sometimes just through different beings or entities, right? But yeah, it becomes a reminder of my own human duty as well, right? Because I can take it, I can leave it at the horizontal level of like, oh, you know, my husband appreciated me. When he does something, I should show appreciation. He'll enjoy that too. And if I think that remains at the horizontal level, right? But if I take it as also thinking, when I recognize that things in my life are being given to me constantly, how much do I express appreciation and acknowledgement of that? And my creator is letting me know again that it would be to his pleasure, right, if I did that. So that's my understanding of it.
Before we move further, does everybody have the text in their mind, or are we feeling the need to maybe read the text so we can get everyone fit to that? Show of hands, all those who would like to reread. All right, simple majority, we're gonna reread. Show of hands, people who think we should do silent reading. Like last time.
You can raise your hand.
Since it doesn't count.
Abdurrahman, would you like to read for us?
Okay. From the fourth grade?
Yeah.
All right.
How about we start from the first degree?
Sure. Where is the? Yeah,
That's the second.
that's good.
Okay,
The first degree of the luminous verse, for us, God suffices. Is everyone there? Okay. Because of a shadow in my essential being of a manifestation of one of the names of the one of glory and perfection, who possessing absolute perfection is of himself and for no other reason worthy of love. I had an innate desire for immortality, directed not to my own immortality, but to the existence, perfection, and immortality of that absolutely perfect one. However, due to heedlessness, that innate love had lost its way, become attached to the shadow, and enamored of the mirror of immortality. Then the verse, for us, God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs, raised the veil. I saw and felt and experienced at the degree of absolute certainty that the pleasure and happiness of my immortality lay exactly and in more perfect form in the immortality of the enduring one of perfection, in affirming my sustainer and God, in believing in him and submitting to him. For an undying truth was realized through his immortality. The insight of belief established that my essential being is the shadow of a divine name which is both enduring and eternal. Also, through the insight of belief, one knows the existence of the absolutely perfect one, the one who is absolutely beloved, and the innate, intense love for his essence is satisfied. And through perceiving through the insight of belief, the eternally enduring one's external existence, eternally enduring one's eternal existence, the perfections of the universe and of mankind are known and exist. And one's natural infatuation with perfection is saved from endless pains and becomes the means to pleasure and enjoyment. Also, through the insight of belief, a connection is formed with the eternally enduring one. And through belief in that connection, a relation comes into being with all his dominions. And due to that connection and relation, with the eye of belief, one looks on infinite dominions as though they were in a way one's own possessions and benefits from them. Also, through the insight of belief and that connection and relation, a bond is formed with all beings. A sort of union is attained with them. In this way, apart from one's personal existence in second place, through the insight of belief and that connection, relation, bond, and union, a boundless existence comes into being, which is as though one's own, and one's innate passionate love of existence is quieted. Also, through that insight of belief and the connection, relation, and bond, a brotherhood is formed with all the people of perfection. Thus, through knowing that due to the eternal existence of the eternally enduring one, those innumerable people of perfection have not gone to nothingness and are not lost. The immortality and continued existence of those innumerable friends, perfections, whom such a person with the insight of belief loves, admires, and appreciates, and to whom he is attached, yields an elevated pleasure for him. Also, through that insight of belief, connection, relation, bond, and brotherhood, I felt and experienced in myself an infinite happiness at the happiness of all my friends, for whose happiness I would willingly sacrifice my life and immortality. For one kind friend is happy and pleased at the happiness of his sincere friend. I therefore felt and perceived through the insight of belief that through the eternal existence of the enduring one of perfection, foremost the noble messenger upon whom be blessings and peace, and his family and companions, and all my masters and those I love, the prophets, saints, and purified scholars, and all my other innumerable friends, had been saved from eternal extinction and would experience eternal happiness. I understood through the mystery of relations, bonds, brotherhood, and friendship that their happiness was reflected in me and made me happy. Also, through the insight of belief, I was saved from endless sorrows arising from love of my fellow men and love for relatives, and felt a boundless spiritual pleasure. For I felt and perceived through the insight of belief that foremost my parents and all my blood relatives and relatives of the spirit, for whom by nature I desire to sacrifice my life and immortality, and would proudly do so, were saved through the eternal existence of the truly enduring one from annihilation, non-existence, eternal annihilation, and endless pains, and would receive his infinite mercy. I felt and perceived that an infinite mercy was protecting and supervising them in place of my insignificant, ineffective compassion, which produces sorrow and pain. Like a mother takes pleasure at the ease, comfort, and enjoyment of her child, I felt pleasure and joy at the salvation and each of all those persons for whom I had compassion under the protection of that mercy, and I offered profound thanks. Also, through the insight of belief and through its connection, I knew and felt that the Risale-i note, which was the result of my life, means of my happiness, and of my natural duty, was saved from being lost and without benefit, and from annihilation and losing its meaning, and that it was fruitful and enduring. I had the conviction that this was so, and I experienced the pleasure of the Spirit far exceeding the pleasure at my own immortality. For I believe that through the enduring one of perfection's eternal existence, the Risale-i note was not only inscribed in the hearts and memories of people, but was studied by innumerable sentient creatures and spirit beings. And in addition, receiving God's pleasure was inscribed on the preserved tablet and guarded records and adorned with fruits of reward. I knew that in particular, its being connected with the Quran and its acceptance by the Prophet, upon whom be blessings and peace, and God willing, being the object of divine pleasure, one moment of its existence and being under the dominical view was far more valuable than the appreciation of all the people of this world. Thus, I realized that I am ever ready to sacrifice my life and immortality for the immortality, continuance, statement, and acceptance of each of those treatises, which prove the truths of my belief, and that my happiness lies in their serving the Quran. In this way, I understood through the connection of belief that through divine immortality, they are the object of appreciation 100 times greater than the appreciation of man. I exclaim with all my strength, for us God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. Also, through the insight of belief, I knew that belief in the eternal existence of the enduring one of glory, who bestows everlasting immortality and perpetual life, and the result of belief, like good works, are the everlasting fruits of this fleeting life and the means to unending immortality. I persuaded my soul to leave aside the shell of this worldly immortality in order to yield both enduring fruits, like a seed leaves aside its casing in order to be transformed into a fruit-bearing tree. Together with my soul, I said, for us God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. For us, his eternal existence is sufficient. Also, through the insight of belief and relation of worship, I knew with the knowledge of certainty that what lies beyond the screen of the earth was lit up, and that the heavy layer of earth was lifted from the dead, and that under the ground, which was entered by the door of the grave, was not dark and stained with non-existence. With all my strength I exclaimed, for us God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. I had the firm conviction, and through the insight of belief, knew with absolute certainty that while the intense desire for immortality looked in true respect to the eternal existence of the enduring one of perfection, I had become someone stunned and bewildered who had lost his beloved on his ego, veiling him and begun to worship the mirror itself. That very deep, powerful desire for immortality governed in my essential being by means of the shadow of one of the names of the absolute perfection, who is loved and worshipped for himself and no other reason, and whom it is man's nature to love. He had given the desire for immortality. And while the perfection of his essence, which apart from himself requires no other reason or motive for love, was sufficient as the cause of worship, as we explained above, by bestowing the above mentioned enduring fruits, each one of which is worthy of having sacrificed for it not one life and immortality, but if possible thousands of worldly lives and immortalities, he had made that innate desire even more intense. This I perceived and felt. If it had been within my power, I would have declared with all the particles of my being, for us God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. And I did declare it with that intention. Also, the insider belief, which seeks its immortality and the eternal existence of God, some of the fruits of which I have indicated above in the paragraph starting also, afforded me such pleasure and joy that I exclaimed with all my spirit, all my strength, from the depths of my heart, together with my soul, for us God suffices, and He is the best disposer of it.
Thank you. Now we can continue our discussions. Do we have any new questions? Do we have any new comments? Yeah.
So, so this is, I hope, relevant to Khalil's question. At the very beginning, the part that we read, the first paragraph, I had, he was saying that I need eternal existence, but he says, can you read the first that you show me the first paragraph after the first one? Because of the shadow of my essential being of the manifestation of one of the one of the glory and perfection of possessing actually perfection is of himself. No. Yet I had an innate desire for immortality, directed not to my immortality, but to the existence, perfection, and immortality of that absolutely perfect one. However, due to heedlessness, that innate love had lost its way, become attached to the shadow and enamored of the mirror of immortality. So sometimes, every time Bushra gets hungry, she comes and asks for chocolate. You can understand the reason, right? The blood sugar and all this stuff. So she has a need, but because of heedlessness, right? Because all the other examples she sees, the taste that she remembers from the chocolate and so on and so forth. She genuinely, it's not like she's not acting. She genuinely thinks she needs chocolate. And when you give her chocolate, if you are heedless as well, if you give her chocolate, she enjoys it. It's not that, she said, oh, I thought I needed chocolate, but this is disgusting. Take it away from, she doesn't say that. But she eats it, she enjoys, so she has this feeling of enjoyment. But what happens after that? Her stomach still starts, acting, or she has some, I don't know, like a mild nausea, whatever. It is like something in the stomach is not that good. So it's not helping her. It's not, what she needs. It is not. She thinks it's chocolate that she needs. But when you give her food, the actual food, she still has the pleasure. And this time it's even, let's say, a bigger pleasure, because it's not only that satisfies this, the signal, which is like the need for sugar, which she can take it from the food as well, but also it satisfies her hunger, it satisfies her other faculties as well. So it's like a full solution to her need, the actual solution to her need. Just like, author says, I thought, I need this type of existence, but actually I needed his existence. The point is that she comes and tells us, but Father, like, why I have the pleasure when I eat the chocolate? What is the point of it? And then I would say, yeah, it is there to call you to something. like to remind you that of a need of yours, a real actual need. But because of heedlessness, the way we live in this life, we usually try to satisfy these actual needs through some other means, which, look like working for a moment, but then starts destroying us. So I don't think it's that much different than, the feeling of, like a good feeling that we get when somebody appreciates us. It is there to call us somewhere, but not obviously the beauty of our t-shirt. But at the same time, the answer is not that you shouldn't have this feeling. No, you shouldn't have the pleasure. Like I imagine I'm telling Bushra, no, Bushra, like this is a fake, the desire that you have. It won't help you. I will not give you chocolate, I'm sorry. And that's it. I don't give her food either. So try to bury this feeling or try to get rid of it. It makes sense. The only solution is give her the actual, the need. So in the following paragraphs that we read, he says, after reading these verses, it became clear to me that through the insight or consciousness of belief, you start having connection with all of his dominions. And then you feel as if all of them is for you. And you get pleasure out of it as well. So the solution author suggests, and he says also other places, he says, you start realizing that your happiness is not just, your happiness is nothing. You, through the insight of belief, you have connection with the happiness of everybody else as well. So when you say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, it's not telling you that Allah is good for you, don't ask anything else. Rather, it says it gives you the full pleasure. So before, you were just trying to have a connection with your t-shirt, but when you have this belief, it gives you the connection to everything else in the universe. And not only your t-shirt is serving you now, everything in the universe is serving you. So you get something bigger. So the Quranic understanding does not take away from you. It says you were striving for this tiny thing. Let me give you the entire universe. It will give you bigger pleasure. You were just trying to be satisfied with your own happiness, which is just tiny thing. Let me show you the way that you will get satisfaction when others get happy. Imagine, like for a moment, that every morning you look at the mirror and try to see something beautiful there. Such a handsome person I am, and so on. But it works one day, another day it doesn't work, and so on. And Quran comes and tells you, every time you look at the universe, like a bird, a tree, a flower, or other people who are handsome, you will get pleasure out of it. So that's what it offers you. It's instead of chocolate, let me give you food.
And what that reminded me of is like perhaps the reason why you like that feeling of being appreciated is because Allah is trying to bring your attention to the fact that He likes being praised and He likes being appreciated. And so you should appreciate the one who is worthy of that appreciation. Are there any comments, Adi?
I would like to make a distinction between two things. I mean, I think appreciation, using that as a word, And how we're using it in the context is a little unclear. I feel like maybe when we say we're seeking appreciation, we'll be saying that we're seeking to be praised. Whereas, appreciation, this word might mean something like, oh, we want to be, someone to be grateful to us, right? I think that's two different meanings. And so, seeking praise, I would say, seems kind of arrogant. It might be linked to maybe an inherent quality of a thing. We're talking about like a t-shirt. No one's grateful because of your t-shirt or something, right? But you can definitely be praised for having like a nice t-shirt. And so are we seeking, to be praised, or are we seeking, gratitude? I would say, I don't think there's an issue seeking gratitude from a person. I feel like that means you've done something useful, right? You've done something that evokes shukr or something from a person. And it's not problematic because we understand that if we understand that the source of doing the thing is not ourselves, but it's given to us to do that thing. Like, we could have done it or not. We're just using it. Maybe if we use it properly, we may eat from the fruit of gratitude. Helping the other person while also benefiting from ourselves.
Also, things that the desire for some security, and that you are seeing this appreciation for doing for all these qualities that you naturally have been intrinsically and made to appreciate in your nature. So you're seeing these things that you have this appreciation for, and you want more of that, you benefit from it, and you want a security for it. And I think that is where you that's where maybe the connection is to immortality. Is the desire for security, is you want a piece of that that beauty or these good qualities, and you want to have some level of almost control over it, possession over it. But knowing that it's not something that you really have that level of ownership or that kind of scares you of it. So was there any desire to immortality? Maybe that's the relation to it, with desire to secure that for you. So
Are you agreeing with the Pete's distinction or no?
to some degree, I mean, I think I'm saying it's more about wanting to have some kind of hold over it, some control.
Pete, you said that, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that appreciation when you want gratitude, is it really problematic? Because it's like, you did something good and something for someone.
Yeah,
Okay.
it depends if you think you're the source of, ability, do you deserve the gratitude just because you are great and capable of making a change? Or because you're the means of the change and not the enabler, the actor.
Yeah, so I think like the problem is still very much existing. If you're feeling the need to be appreciated, even with your distinction, that doesn't mean that you're needing people to be grateful for you and you're attributing that thing that you did to yourself. So that problem is still there. But I guess one question that I have is because when we were reading the text, I noticed that, and I might be wrong, but Musa isn't really against you looking or not looking for, but you being appreciated by people. It's just that he thinks that you should look much more at Allah being pleased with you or Allah appreciating you. I didn't really see like the blatant, like, oh, don't look for people's appreciation. I just thought it went more like, oh, but when you see Allah's, like, everything else will just fall so bleak in comparison that, it won't matter. So I guess my question is then, is seeking appreciation bad in and of itself? And the second thing is, then should we appreciate other people and why? Especially if we think that might be harmful for them. Yusuf.
So it looks like author is mentioning, as far as I can see, two major reasons for love or appreciation. One, he said there is some sort of a perfection. And the second one was, the word used in here is immortality, but let's say it's continuation. Okay. As I said, immortality reminds me of Mortal Kombat. So it's more about continuation. So let's think about both. Why would you love something? Why would you appreciate something? There must be some value in there, some beauty in there. Author in here is using the word perfection because perfection is more comprehensive. It's not only in terms of beauty, but in all aspects, something is perfect. So let's say in terms of, if it's a food, you can say that the food is perfect in terms of taste, the food is perfect in terms of calorie, the food is perfect in terms of how it looks like. It is perfect, in short, right? So beautiful in all aspects. So if there is beauty, innately, you have a tendency to love something that's beautiful. So this is reason one. Reason two is, let's say there's something very beautiful, but like fireworks, it just goes away in a second. You would say, well, it was nice, but I mean, it didn't take that long to disappear. So, I mean, it was nice for a second, but you enjoyed it for a second, and then what happened? I mean, was it all? Like, imagine you pay $200 to get into a movie, you enter the theater, and then after the names appear and whatever, there is a fireworks. Wow, you said you're waiting for another one, nothing comes. So continuation of that perfection is also important. That would be worthy to be appreciated. Because if it is perfect, it should also continue. This is part of perfection as well. Something that just shines once and goes away, which is another sign of imperfection. So author is saying that these are the two things that I do love, I do appreciate. As a human, I am meant to love these. But then I love myself, or I love the perfections within me. And also I would like others to love and appreciate those perfections.
Shadows of perfection.
Which I realize they are shadows. Why? Because they disappear. Like if they were inherently mine, they would stay with me. But the fact that they are disappearing is becoming the source of my agony. Yes, I do love value. I do love somebody appreciating me as well. But since it doesn't continue, I know that it's not mine. This is where the pain is. And this is an invitation. The lack of a satisfaction in there is creator's invitation, saying that now you taste it, then you realize the problem, right? Intentionally, I gave you that love to the self so that you realize that it doesn't satisfy you. By you loving yourself or others loving you doesn't satisfy you because you know that it's going out of your hand. That was purposefully designed as such. Oh, my creator, then what is the answer? Then it says, what will satisfy your innate desire for this perfection? Love a truly perfect one. Try to find a true perfection. And once you get attached to that perfection, that will satisfy you. And that perfection is not detached from you really, because you are an artifact of that perfection. You're attached to that perfection. You're a creation of that perfection. So this is what author is saying. It's not like, it's not my perfection, but it is my creator's perfection. So I have a tie with that perfection. I'm not detached from it. I can be proud of, I can be happy of, like, I mean, it's not the best example, but think of it this way. If my father makes a nice statement somewhere, I say, oh, I am happy with my father. I am proud of my father, I mean, it's not the best example, but because of my connection to my father, his beauty, his perfection, I am becoming happy of that. Now, my maker, my creator is the source of perfection. I have nothing in myself, but all the perfections that's being manifest on me and everything else is coming from the one who is making me. That connection is there. It's not detached from me. I'm not the owner, but I am the recipient of it. So this is where this brotherhood with the whole existence comes into the picture, and the relation with me and the rest of the existence comes into the picture. So I can enjoy now that perfection. So I think this is where author is first identifying the problem that Kadir was mentioning. Yes, you are meant to love it, and then you are meant to suffer from it, as Birkan was saying. You eat that chocolate, but you suffer from it afterwards. And this is by design. Then realize that, well, where's the solution? The solution is identify what you're supposed to be loving. Were you supposed to be loving the image that's reflected on the mirror? Or are you supposed to be loving the source, which never dies? Because the image disappears, and your heart is never satisfied with this disappearing image. You love it instantaneously, but it's not continuous, hence imperfect. And this doesn't satisfy me. If we take it down, I mean, it has been a little too abstract, but if we take it down to individuals now, I want to be appreciated because I think I am valuable. But deep inside, I know that I am dying. Day by day, I am losing those qualities that I am proud of, first and foremost. Even before I die, I'm not going to be as smart. I'm not any more funny. I mean, all these things are being taken away from me with every new white hair. It is just a sign that something inside is also taken away from me. It's not only the flake hair taken away. Each white hair outside is a sign that something inside also has gone away from you. So then this is source of an agony for me. I mean, deep inside, I know that I love it, but it's being taken away from me. So very good, very beautiful. Alhamdulillah that I am feeling this pain. What is the answer then? Ask the question. Were you worthy of being loved in the first place? Because those perfection was not yours. So the address was wrong. The address of love was wrong. So then who is the true address of love or appreciation? Whatever is the source of all those beauties is the true address of love. So turn your head from yourself to him, in a sense. Do not get lost in ana, I. Find Hua, find him, and realize that all the lights that were manifest or being seen on you were coming from an eternal sun, eternal light. You were just a mirror. Mirrors are dark. Mirrors do not have colors on them. So, and what you enjoy is loving perfection. So just find the perfect one and keep loving him. You're not perfect. There's nothing in you to love, really. So this is, I guess, the solution that the author is suggesting here.
If you're going to come back to you feel like that answers your question, or are there still any doubts? Would you like to address what the doubts are?
It's just like question, then have to work on it.
So we zoned in on you today.
I guess question, comment, like when Brother Yusuf beautifully says, but at the same time, like when he says these things, it almost feels like, so he says like, why are you loving yourself? Like, is there something to be loved? Is there anything there? Love the one who's actually perfect. Love this. You're not one to be loved. Like, there's almost this idea of, oh, I need to like deprecate myself. I need to like hate myself. I need to lower myself. Like there's this idea that I'm nothing, he's everything. Like you might fall into this idea that I have no value. Like this is kind of the relationship. And I think that's exactly the opposite of what Elisa is saying, but kind of this is where like the heart goes or the mind goes, like, oh, then I have no value because I'm so like used to identifying myself with things I own. Like I own my intelligence, I own my beauty, I own being good to someone. If I do something good and they say thank you, I'm like, oh, I own that. I'm so like, this is my identity that when someone says, no, you don't own it, you don't have that, that's not yours. Now I feel like you've left me with nothing. And now I feel like hurt. And I think here the issue is with like this idea of, I think that self-love, like, you know, this kind of very popular right now, self-help, self-love. It's so foundationless because you try to like say things like, oh, I'm intelligent, I can do it, I'm able to do this. And it's kind of what Nursi's saying, you know, he fell in love with the mirror. Like he sees himself as the mirror, those qualities, they're a mirror, but he says he fell in love with the mirror and he forgot about the source. And you think that, oh, this self-love, it actually empowers you. You have like this false idea. But I would say like self-love, you know, I don't know if anyone's like tried it, but like it's only a path into darkness, really, because you know that it's so like you just have to trick yourself into believing it, kind of. And I would say self-love and self-hate are almost the same thing, because when you self-love, you try to love the mirror, but then self-hate is like, oh, I suck, I'm not able to do this. Like, why am I not more perfect? Why am I not better? So they're almost like the same thing. Like you hate yourself, you love yourself. It's all for the same, the root cause is the same because you're so focused on that mirror. And like from Brother Yusuf, what he said, what I'm trying to understand is I'm so focused on the mirror and that's like what I've made to be my value. But really my value is in being a mirror. I'm a reflection of something. And then when I see that the source of this reflection never dies, like my beauty is going to die, my age is going to die. I hate talking about once I pass like some certain age, I'm not going to want to remember what age I am. You know, it's going to become a topic that I don't want to think about anymore because my age is dying. But then when I realize that I'm a mirror of a creator, the source that never dies, so like there's an abundance there, then I can see that, yeah, my age is right now going away, but the one who is giving me life, that source is eternal. Like I don't worry that that source is dying. I don't worry that that source is going away, that it's getting less. I just see that he's creating me as older because there's some message in that for me. So I gain value in the sense that I'm not losing anything anymore. I see that the one who creates me is not going away. And also I'm now a reflection of those qualities. Like he's giving me, I'm receiving, and now I'm like reflecting them. And that's my value. And then I also love perfection. As he was saying, like I couldn't love myself. I was hating myself because I'm not perfect. But now I see that there's a source that I can actually love that has true perfection. So I think like it's kind of, when you initially say it, kind of goes against what we normally think is of value, but if we can shift our perspective a bit and do some like cleaning, then that's, you see, it's not about self-deprecation, it's actually the opposite. It's not self-hate, it's not self-love, it's actually just appreciating, seeing that true perfection.
So like I sometimes hear from brothers, sisters who attend the discussions, they love the discussion environment, even the house appears very lovely and whatever. So just imagine what is special about this house. Like we come and make a discussion in here, we enjoy the discussion, but let's say we move to another house, something happened. Are these walls does these walls carry any meaning? Like we having these discussions in here during that time, the creator is creating this beauty, these blessings upon us, but walls are just being a means for now. Like this environment being a means for seeing this beauty or experiencing this beauty. We will pass away. I mean, we will move to another house, discussions will go somewhere, something. These walls have nothing to do with that. You can extrapolate the same idea to the people as well. Like, since walls are a very clear example for that, this is the case. But is it about me? Is it about Abdurrahman? Is it about anyone in here? we do enjoy some perfection when we are here making a supplication together, but it's clear that walls are not the source of that. Apply it to the people as well. We are being blessed with beautiful meanings, but no single individual is the source of any of those meanings or beauties.
Every year, circle is changing.
Yeah, so circle has been changing over the years. Still, alhamdulillah, the beauty is there. So what does this say? Yeah, there is something to be appreciated. This is why people love. But to whom does this belong? It belongs to nobody. To nobody and nothing in here. So does this mean that I should not appreciate? No, no. Find the true source of it and get attached to that true source. Because if I were to get attached to something else, let's say, oh, it's because of Atik's brilliant comments, the discussions are becoming like it's all due to him. So tomorrow Atik is going to make a bad comment and I'm going to become upset. Or I think something will happen to Atik and I will say, oh, we ran out of it now. So it becomes my agony over time. So very practical, I guess this could be a example right in front of our eyes, but you can apply it to yourself as well, since walls were clearly not the source, but something that you enjoy within yourself is the same still. Is it worthy to be loved? Yes, discussions are worthy to be loved, but is it the wall? Is it the people? None. So how do I fix that problem? Find the true source and just direct that love to its true address. This is an important part because Nursi says, sometimes some shuyukh make suggestion to people in their speeches and it's not being functional. Says the reason for that is they say to people, don't love, don't do this, don't do that. Says such feelings are like, this is a impossible suggestion. Think of it this way. There is a water that's just gushing forth from somewhere. If you try to block it, it's going to explode from somewhere else. It's just going out. So if that direction is disturbing you, try to change its direction. Like if water gushing forth in this way is going to demolish a building, just put some obstacles in it, change its direction, because you cannot stop that flood. So you have love, you want to love, you're meant to love, but you cannot love yourself. It wouldn't work. So change its direction to what is worthy of being loved, so that this love is not going to become a torture for you. So, and this is what he's suggesting in here. My love out of heedlessness turned or desire for immortality or continuation got stuck with the self and it became hurting. So you said, turn its direction to the one who is worthy to be loved. And then this love is going to get satisfied. And it really fits why that love was put in me in the first place. So you cannot hate yourself. You cannot stop loving either, but turn that love to the true source that is worthy of love.
Now let's continue with the example, the halakat. So the way I see with this text, like there are multiple, not only with this text, but everything we discussed, there are multiple, I don't want to use the word level, but multiple maybe different, what? Degrees? Maybe degrees, yeah, let's say degrees of understanding. And this text, at least to me, seems to be a little bit different than the other texts that we've been reading. So what happens when we, like at the 0 degree, we have this naturalistic understanding of the world. We see something beautiful, and we say that, oh, I like this beautiful flower, I like this beautiful chocolate. Or we come to Holocaust, and we say, I like the atmosphere. I like, the way that the walls are, decorated. I like the food I eat. And then the people are nice, acting nice. And I like it, we say. This is the level 0 of our attitude towards the existence. So there's a desire, enjoyment. But then Yusuf comes and says, "But what are you doing here? Like this is so, the low level superficial understanding of what's going on here." Yeah? So yes, there's an appreciation, but you think this appreciation is coming from this artwork or the people faces or the food and so on. You should cut this connection and realize that this appreciation is from, coming together, thinking about something together and so on and so forth. Now you left some part of it behind, which is, the fake anyway. I'm not saying that artists are fake. Some of them are replica, but that's what I'm not saying. Everything that we mentioned is just leave behind certain things and say that no, it is the way we come together make me happy. Let's say this is the second one or the first one. But it doesn't stop there either. So yeah, we come together and so on. But it seems there's something more than that. Because sometimes it's just two people come together, but I still benefit from it. Sometimes I read it myself, I still benefit from it. Right? And then you say maybe it's not the fact that we come together either by itself, but it's just the fact that I remember my creator, and this gives me the joy. Okay? And this enjoyment is not from this artwork and so on, you already passed that. But this enjoyment is not even from the people who are coming together and so on. It's enjoyment is given to me from my creator directly. This is, let's say, the second level. But it doesn't stop there either. So this is the level we usually come and conclude as believers. We say, I have this beauty, I have my youth, I have my beautiful face, I have, the friendship, whatever it is, and I enjoy it. And I realize it is given to me from my creator. And I'm thankful to him, we say, but still, we are looking for the same enjoyment. Like we say, I enjoy being a handsome person. Okay. Before I say he was giving my handsomeness through my youth. Now he gives my handsomeness through my, the older age. I say, but I'm still looking for handsomeness. I appreciate that it is given from him. I appreciate that it is not, tied to my, let's say, body or cells, which are replicated, replaced constantly. And it's changing. Sometimes it's through my youth. Sometimes it's through my, the wrinkled face, which reflects some wisdom or whatever I make up, right? And appreciate that it is given from my creator. Or some people, they don't wrinkle once. But what I want is still this handsomeness that I appreciate and experience in this world. And by tying it to my creator, I assume like a perpetual, continuous handsomeness given to me. And I'm happy with that. This is usually the end, the point that we reach. here, my understanding, author said something beyond that. He says, I was always looking for eternity, right? But material eternity. Meaning I will exist with a, one way or another with this body. In heaven, for instance, I will become young again. But it's still, the quote unquote material, that's like you can think it as immaterial as well, but doesn't matter. Within this worldly setup, whatever I experience in here, I was thinking that it will continue. It should continue, and this is what I desire for. When I have the perfect belief, I will have perfect confidence and peace in knowing that, this beauty in Kadir or his t-shirt will continue through my creator. And author says, but this is not what I want. If I check myself, I don't care about the handsomeness. Because the handsomeness is so, defined so baseless. Like, what is handsomeness? What is this material existence? What is, being appreciated? What is being young? Doesn't matter. What I want, as Yusuf said, perfection. And my handsomeness doesn't, like in any shape of, like a form of shape, it's not perfect. It's still a human handsomeness, which will be handsome for one, the lady, and not for another, even if it continues. And this is not what I want. So going beyond tying back to what we have here, to the creator, and being appreciated, and saying that, yes, this is what I want, and my creator will give me more. So like, you have a child, and you say that, wow, such a beautiful thing, this experience I had. And I say, even she goes away, may Allah, protect, something bad happens to her. I'm not worried, because he will give me another daughter. Or he will give me another means to have the same pleasure, I say. Then in the next level, the author is talking. It's not even after the beauty of my daughter or the happiness that I get through my child. There's something beyond that, even if not satisfying me. And author says, I want the perfection of the source. And when I make the connection to him that way, when I forget everything else, then I am connected to everything. Is that the irony? You say, I don't need any of you, which is true. But then everything here changes meaning, and you are connected to everything, and you have the true perfection now. Still through the creation, but everything will become mirrored, and everywhere, even in your enemy, you will look at it, and if your enemy is handsome, you will say, Alhamdulillah, I enjoy it. Because he's just a mirror. I don't care about this worldly handsomeness. What it tells me is what I need. So again, to me, this text is saying something more than just tying things to creator and being safe, like a feeling safe. It's realizing what really you want.
Do you have a comment?
Yes. So much of the beautiful points. So I just have like one question, might take us off topic, so if it's a different topic that we can discuss it later. But it's about the third topic of the discussion, that is societal and existential
Oh,
loneliness.
okay.
So I came across this quote that is like accepting that no one wants you and that you are unnecessary is the most painful thing that can ever happen to you. I came across this quote the other day. I was watching a video on YouTube. And it got me started thinking, like, for example, right now we're saying like you are handsome and then that you want that handsomeness to be appreciated. But when you are in the society, everyone appreciates handsomeness. Like if you're not handsome, it's most likely going to end up you're going to end up alone. And so my question is like, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with, like, for example, what I am understanding and what is the best understanding is like, do not do things that like people are doing and do it to know your creator and everything. But when you're in the world, you want to have friends, you want people to love you, and people are loving handsomeness. So naturally, you would want to become handsome so that people love you and you're not alone in this universe or alone in this world, I would say. So my question really is to how to tackle that. Maybe if it's a different topic, we can discuss later.
Better friends.
Zarar has a comment.
Sure, you can unmute yourself now if you want.
His mic is on, but he's not talking.
Check your speaker.
No, he's not talking.
Do we have enough? Maybe he thinks so.
Okay, probably it was by mistake. He is probably in the gym. Anyways, okay.
Okay. Oh, he said it was a mistake?
No, but he closed his microphone.
Okay. So we couldn't hear you, Zara. May I say something?
Yes.
So I don't have an answer, and I leave it to, this, the third group to answer. We will study, inshallah. But the way you start, I think, is perfect. Like you need something. You don't want to be lonely and bored. But then for some reason, you take it granted certain answers to this need. Like I say, I don't want to be lonely. And then I jump to the conclusion saying that, and the only way not to be lonely is to be surrounded by people. And only way not to be lonely is to have a value so that people will be attracted to you. So this part is, to me, it's too far-fetched. It's a big jump. Why do we think, just like my daughter, why do we think that when we have this urge for something, we think definitely the chocolate is the answer?
What is loneliness?
Sorry?
What is loneliness then?
That's the thing that you should be answering. That's the reason I said, I don't have the answer. But you have to ask what I need there. What I mean with being lonely. Why it hurts and how it hurts, what it hurts. Because if you take it as, a package given to you, that your pain is from Abdurrahman is not being with you. If you believe that like you don't have any solution but convincing Abdurrahman being with you all the time.
Just someone. No, but like, my question is not one specific person, like in a community. in a
Just
group.
like,
That doesn't matter. Yeah. Like Abdurrahman is just an example. But if you think the only way to solve your loneliness is being surrounded by more people, or at least a few people, if this is the case, yeah, you are right. There's no other way to not to be lonely, but you have to be like a handsome, make sound at least, or some of them, either handsome or funny or attractive or whatever. Yes, you are right. If this is the answer.
Like my point was, as I shared in the quote, is like being noticed, not like loneliness for me is like when you're not being noticed, when you're walking around and like everyone say that like you do not exist. So that is loneliness for me. So what I'm saying is that like you just want to be noticed, and you notice around you is that handsome people are being noticed. So that is why you want to become handsome. It's not like a jump to that conclusion. It's like how I see the society around me. And for example, I go to a big university, for example, and smart people are being appreciated, and smart people are not feeling lonely for me. So I would say, like, for me, that the logical conclusion would be, if I am smart, then I might be noticed. So then I might not be lonely. Did you like understand? Or?
I totally understand, and I see I agree that the system is at least try to be designed. They try to be designed the way that you described. The people tells us that these are the means of not being lonely or being noticed. But again, we have to discuss it. And what is the root cause of feeling lonely, and what can answer this need in reality? Because at least if you ask me, I've been, alhamdulillah, like blessed to be surrounded by many people throughout my ages. And I can tell you, it doesn't help. I can tell you, like from the first hand, it doesn't help at all.
Tell you from the other end.
You can tell me, but you can tell me that not being surrounded by people with these expectations is not helping either. But that's what you can tell me. An author, inshallah, when we study, will tell us there's a solution that will satisfy your need in the real sense. So the only thing I ask is, don't try to find the solution within the system given to you. Question it. That's the only thing I'm asking. I'm not giving an answer.
Yusuf has a comment.
I think that an answer might be where the author was since the beginning talking. So you love perfection, you love continuation. So when you said, if somebody appreciates me, I feel like I am or I exist. If nobody notices me, I feel like I do not exist, and it hurts. So what is perfection in this case? Perfection is like, it's a package, if you like, of many qualities. Perfectly beautiful, perfectly handsome, perfectly whatever. So you exist as a perfect package. But really, when we say perfection, we mean perfection of your existence. So somebody not appreciating you means you're not perfect in any sense. So it is shouting at your face that you do not exist. So perfection in this sense is also a problem of existence in this case. You feel like you do not exist. But think about it. Do you love existence? To understand this, you can question. Can you fathom the idea of you being nothing? Like you will give a blank screen, like blue screen in the old days, right? So you being nothing. You do enjoy being, like you enjoy existing. You enjoy breathing air, you enjoy listening. Even sometimes you will enjoy listening noise. Just the fact that you can sense is a joy. So you do love existing. It is a perfection, but it's not yours. This is what's being mentioned. So if nobody notices you, that means you do not exist. This is why it hurts. So the question is, do I exist because somebody notices me? Or do I exist because I am being given existence? Like, is it their gaze that gives me existence? Or is it, let's use a metaphorical term, is it the gaze of my creator which gives me existence? What is my source of being? If I consider, if Kadir says that I'm a good person, then I am a good person. And I use this as I be to be a good person. Or is it that as much as my creator creates goodness in me, then that would be manifest on me. So this is why if I start thinking that all those values, beauty, handsomeness, whatever, is on the hands of other people, then they become my creators. I become their slaves. But if I say, no, those, whatever is being manifest on me, I mean, I might be an ugly person according to the standards of the society, but there are many perfections on me, which is I breathe air and I enjoy that. Like, there might be, if you really count it like this, many of the perfections in you, ugliness, you would say, well, this is just a tiny thing. Look, I have 5 fingers and I enjoy using them. Who gave me those 5 fingers? You will enjoy the presence of 5 fingers in this case, for instance. But if I get stuck with this ugliness or handsomeness in there, and since nobody's appreciating my handsomeness, I feel like I don't exist. You would then say that who cares? I mean, this is not the source of my existence, hence cannot be the source of my satisfaction. My satisfaction would be from, oh, I am being created with 5 fingers, with 2 eyes, with which I am being given sight as well. So I am being cared by someone who makes me with all these, and I am perfectly satisfied with that. Because think about it, when somebody remembers your birthday and buys you a gift, you are being happy, right? Somebody remembers you and gifts you air right now. And right now as well. And right now as well, right? So if you are seeking for satisfaction by being remembered, yes, somebody is constantly remembering you, never forgetting you, and that someone is also taking care of your parents, your friends, everyone. This is then going to become, then you would say, well, such and such says that I'm not handsome. Who cares? Like, who is that person? Just another miserable human being. I am being remembered by the, if you like, owner of the whole existence is remembering me. Who cares about some Mr. X not knowing my name, not appreciating me? Will become your stance. So again, I think it's all about this perfection and continuation, which boils, and existence in there is really, being is a very major part of that, if not it in its entirety.
We're gonna finish in 5 minutes because we started 5 minutes late. Are there any comments? Serene, Aishanur, Aisha, if you want. The guy sitting next to Abdurrahman. Any comments?
See, nobody notices you. Nobody appreciates you.
Would appreciate you.
Not even acknowledged by name. Poor guy.
Sorry, what's your name?
Taylor. Tamer.
I'll ask you after the discussion. Any comments?
I guess. I don't have a comment of substance. I was just going to say, I guess this, I think the human need that Kadir is mentioning is a very real one, right? And I'm sure felt by everyone in a different form or manifestation. Whether you're physically isolated or physically surrounded by people, right? Or somewhere in between. And also that I think it's, like just looking at our society, there is an endemic of loneliness as well. So I guess like I will express, that's not where I was going with this comment, but I feel I will express my appreciation for just the expression of this need. And I guess it shows that it needs to be studied. The importance of it needs to be studied. Some do.
Oh, you're not.
Is it the worst case? Or second?
Use.
But it's okay, we like to stay the underdogs, you know.
No, I just asked who's studying drones. Why everybody not talking in the competition?
They got widely competitive in the groups. So
Oh.
it's continuing the spirit of.
So this is the last I guess week we are studying this topic, right? Next week we are studying with either perfection of London or maybe we should continue with London since we made the connection. Okay. But what remained with me, or I hope will remain with me after these 2 weeks of discussion, is that asking the question, what you really need. Like there's a need there, there's a like the what is it called? The car, we have all these things. No, in the car, like in the car.
Tesla.
Vehicle.
Tesla is the car.
We have all the, the readings.
Dashboard.
Yes, dashboard, and inside dashboard, we have what? Gauges. Yes, gauges, yes. Thank you. We have all these gauges in the car, driving, and they don't tell us that it's the lights and so on, right? They don't tell us the actual problem. They tell us that there's a problem and be careful, look for it. And they give it direction as well. So most of our, the pains, needs, desires are like these gauges. And they tell us that there's something wrong or you need something. Right? And what we usually do is like imagine that what, for example, we've been doing with Yusuf's first car. So there was an engine light, okay, it's lighting.
It was
there.
always on.
Yeah, it was always on. And our solution was
Turn it around until it.
to find a way to take off the battery or something to turn off the light. So because that's what the problem, right? It shouldn't be lighting off the light. So this is exactly, going back to your question. We have this light blinking. You feel lonely, you need appreciation, you need X, you need Y. And the people come and say that, oh yes, you should turn off this light. So more people around you. Or go to gym or do this, do that. But the author says, what are you doing? Check the engine. There's something there, it's telling you something. It's not about turning off the light. And so, alhamdulillah, after all these discussions, we decided to look at the engine.
We sold the car.
We saw you change your body. If you look at some, they invest in an AI company, they will replace your body. Exactly, you change your body. So, but that's the solutions that we usually seeking for. And we say, what else I can do? The light was bothering me, I took it off. The author says, no, it's not your needs. Ask for your actual need, and it will take you to the actual satisfaction. Follow your pain, not try to, cover it.
Concluding remarks. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana